Mr. Speaker, I have given notice to ask the private notice question put to the Honourable Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Development, whether in regard to horse racing and related activities of the Global Equestrian Ltd, he will, for the benefit of the House, obtain information from A, the Economic Development Board, as to if an investment certificate has been granted by the board to the company, therefore, and if so, indicate the conditions attached thereto. And 2, the other licenses granted thereto in relation to trading activities, if any, carried out by the company. B, as to the Mauritius Revenue Authority, the amount of tax foregone, if any, and paid annually by the company to date.
Mr. Speaker, sir, with your permission, I'm going to reply to this question on behalf of Substantive Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Development, who is currently on mission abroad. In the budget speech 2021-2022 presented by my colleague, the Honourable Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Development, it was announced that in a bid to streamline the 16 investment schemes, 3 categories of certificates would be issued by the Economic Development Board, the EDB, namely, A, the investment certificate, B, the export development certificate, and C, the premium investor certificate. Accordingly, the Economic Development Act was amended through the Finance Miscellaneous Provisions Act 2021. The investment certificate provides for specific incentives for projects under qualified sectors, namely 8 years income tax exemption, VAT exemption, duty exemption, amongst others. It also contains a series of conditions to which the promoter must adhere to, pending which the investment certificate may be suspended or revoked under Section 14C of the Economic Development Board Act. An export development certificate is issued to export-oriented enterprises to benefit from the following incentives: A, trade rebate scheme, B, trade promotion and marketing scheme, C, subsidy on the cost of credit guarantee insurance scheme, and D, preferential port and handling charges. A premium investor certificate is issued to any project having a minimum investment of 500 million rupees in emerging sectors, pioneering industries and first movers, or innovative technologies. Moreover, irrespective of the investment value, this scheme also applies to projects engaged in the manufacture of pharmaceuticals, medical devices, and materials for renewable energy technologies. As at date, the EDB has issued 40 investment certificates in various sectors, namely agro-processing, aquaculture, digital technology and innovation, education, food processing, healthcare, biotechnology and life sciences, high-tech manufacturing, industrial fishing, and nursing and residential care. The 230 export development certificates and 6 premium investor certificates. With respect to Part A1 of the question, I'm informed by the EDB that an application was received for an investment certificate from Global Equestrian Ltd on the 16th of May 2022. According to the business plan submitted by the company to the EDB, investment in the project over 3 years is estimated at 270 million rupees and aimed at conducting the following activities at Petit Gamin, Le Goulet, Balaclava. A, animal breeding. B, training, C, veterinary services, and D, re-exports of animals. Consequently, after due diligence, Global Equestrian Ltd was issued with an investment certificate under Section 14B of the Economic Development Board Act on the 30th of May 2022, conferring the promoter with the following incentives. A, an 8-year income tax holiday on income derived from life sciences from the year of incorporation of the company. B, exemption from payment of registration duty and land transfer tax. And C, VAT exemption on construction materials for the purpose of the above-mentioned activities. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm further informed that the certificate comprises a covering letter which includes general and specific conditions. With regards to general conditions, A, the company shall at all times comply with applicable laws, rules, regulations, and guidelines. B, ensure that it holds valid licenses, approvals, or permits as may be required under the laws of Mauritius. C, forthwith inform the EDB of any matter which would affect its eligibility to hold this certificate, including but not limited to, if it no longer satisfies the eligible criteria, if it does not hold or ceases to hold any required license, approval, or permit, etc. C, if it is in breach of any legislative requirements. And D, the EDB reserves the right to impose such other terms and conditions as it may deem necessary. As regards specific conditions of the certificate, it provides that A, the land acquired should be used to construct a building primarily to carry out the activities of life sciences for the exemption from registration duty and land transfer tax. B, any construction material and equipment qualifying and benefiting from VAT exemption shall be used exclusively for the construction of breeding and training facilities. And C, the project promoter should submit a detailed construction plan to the EDB and the MRA, clearly indicating the quantity and or volume of each item and their intended use of each material. As regards Part A2 of the question, I'm informed EDB has not issued any license to Global Equestrian Ltd. EDB has only issued an investment certificate to the company, which confers specific incentives with regard to the activities applied for. Concerning Part B of the question, I'm informed by the Mauritius Revenue Authority that, in accordance with relevant sections of the Customs Act, Income Tax Act, the Mauritius Revenue Authority Act, and the Value Added Tax Act, regarding confidentiality, no information on tax affairs of a particular taxpayer may be disclosed. As such, information relating to tax foregone and paid by Global Equestrian Ltd cannot be disclosed. I'm further informed by the MRA that any VAT-registered person will be able to recoup VAT paid on capital goods as well as recurrent goods, irrespective of whether the person has an investment certificate or not. In line with the VAT neutrality principle, businesses do not suffer the VAT cost, but rather it is a final consumer who bears the VAT charge. In the case of capital goods, a VAT-registered company will be able to claim repayment of VAT claimed under Section 24 of the VAT Act. On the other hand, for recurrent goods, the company will be able to offset the input tax against its output tax, whilst submitting its VAT returns to the MRA. In the case of Global Equestrian Ltd, following the issue of the investment certificate, the company will not have to claim VAT repayment on capital goods, as it is exempted from payment of VAT upfront at time of purchase of construction materials. As such, this exemption does not represent any cost to government. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to draw the attention of that any economic operator must comply with the rules and regulations of our country. Relevant authorities in Mauritius shall take appropriate actions for any non-compliance with the conditions attached to certificates and incentives. With all the measures taken by this responsible government with regard to business facilitation, we have seen record levels of foreign direct investment to the tune of 37 billion rupees, and the investment rate has increased to 23.5% of GDP for the year 2023. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I've listened to the reply given by the acting Minister of Finance. Now, I might understand, Minister, that animal breeding, veterinary services, and re-export, I think you forgot re-export of horses, are these activities prescribed by law in the enabling legislation?
In the what?
In the enabling legislation.
Well, Mr. Speaker, sir, if I go by the investment certificate, for any applicant to apply and to be eligible to have that investment certificate, they have to satisfy those conditions, that is, providing breeding, training, and quarantine services for them to be able to qualify under that scheme that have been provided for at the level of the EDB. I'm informed that there's nothing in law, but there are guidelines issued by the EDB for that particular scheme.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. And he rightly mentioned guidelines, but we are talking of clear activities. And so, and he's right, from what he has stated, we understand that these activities are not prescribed by law in the enabling legislation. That's what you say. You cannot rely on guidelines. Guidelines are not part and parcel of legislation.
That's what I've been informed for any, for those schemes to benefit from, and for any project to benefit from that investment certificate. There are certain activities that they have to perform, and those activities are as per the guidelines issued by the EDB.
Now, you know that this...
Please, through the chair.
Sure, Chair.
Address the chair.
We know that this company, GL, acts in opacity. Now, in view of the complete opacity behind the financing of all those hundreds of millions, possible billions of rupees, will the minister recommend the relevant authorities to conduct an inquiry into the source of funds of Mr. GMLS company?
Well, I'm not too clear what the Honourable Leader of the Opposition is referring to when he's talking about opacity. But what I can tell the House is that before the said company was issued that investor's certificate, a due diligence exercise was carried out, and based on that, the certificate was issued to that particular company, the Global Equestrian Company.
You mentioned PTP, which we highlighted in one of the PNQ, which I put to the Honourable Minister of Finance. Now, is the Minister aware that Global Equestrian Ltd leases horses to members of the public running the races at Champ de Mars?
Well, Mr. Speaker, sir, if we refer to the question put to me, this was regard to licenses, if any, was issued by the EDB and the investment certificate. As far as the EDB is concerned, they don't issue license with regard to leasing or to race horsing at the level of the Champ de Mars. So the EDB is only awarding a certificate, and for that, they have to carry out certain activities, be able to be eligible for certain advantages that exist within that scheme.
Honourable Minister, this is not an advantage, this is a breach. Is the Minister aware that Global Equestrian Ltd is in breach of the condition attached to the investment certificate? Is he aware of this?
Well, Mr. Speaker, sir, again, I don't see where there are breaches. If there are any, probably it would be good that he would give some examples where there have been breaches, because I had been informed by the EDB that when they issued that certificate, there are certain conditions that they have to satisfy, and so far, up till now, they haven't been made aware of any breaches. As of now, I can say that the conditions are being followed. So, so far, if there were any breaches that were made by that company, probably the EDB would have taken actions as spelled out under conditions set.
The Minister aware that the breaches are so obvious that the relevant institutional bodies are not taking any action. Now, can I ask him, what permit does Global Equestrian Ltd possess to be able to carry such activities? Is it regulated by the Financial Services Commission?
Question again, Mr. Speaker, sir, is with regard to what are the licenses or certificates issued by the EDB. Now he's going well beyond what the EDB has the power to issue in terms of certificates or licenses. If he's referring to other licenses that could have been issued by other authorities, he should have come or either in his question referred to it or comes with substantive questions in relation to other licenses being issued by other authorities.
Now, are the anti-money laundering and combating of financial terrorism guidelines in regard to the leasing of resources being respected by that company? Yes.
Again, Mr. Speaker, sir,
Yeah.
I think the leader of the opposition, he should have well spelled out his question, give all the, if he wants to, he's looking for information. He should have put it in his main question so that I have all the information to be able to share with him in this House. He comes up with a set of questions that is restricted to the EDB. Now he's asking me about questions with regard to FSC or other authorities. How am I supposed to be able to provide him now with those answers when he himself, he should have known that that wouldn't be possible?
You see, the Honourable Minister is not replying. These are specific questions relating to the company per se. And it has to obtain the license from the FSC. And I will come back to this again. The Global Equestrian Ltd company licensed by the FSC, they would have been required, there would have been a necessity to have a business risk assessment. And we know that this is a high-risk client, and both FSC and Bank of Mauritius would have had to monitor closely with reference to anti-money laundering and combating of financing of terrorism.
What is the question, Mr. Speaker, sir?
You're running away from the specific question.
No, wait.
Again, Mr. Speaker, sir, if you put your question, clear question, you get a clear answer. He's going around with other,
If you're not replying, ask your officers to help you if you can't reply to the question.
Don't argue with him. Just put your questions.
Yes. Now, with the honor of Global Equestrian Ltd being also a bookmaker at the Champ de Mars and controlling the offshore betting all around the island with the SMS players and the like, where the integrity of horse racing in Mauritius, aided and abetted by this government.
well,
Add to this also.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the Global Equestrian Limited, as far as I'm informed, does not hold any other licenses other than an equestrian, to run an equestrian center. So I'm not aware of that company holding a gambling or gambling license. So I don't know where he gets that kind of information. Maybe he's being induced en erreur.
Relevant. Let me come again to another one. Is the minister aware that more than 250 horses have been imported at zero VAT rated and that the government has not perceived a single cent? This is the company which is involved in illicit activities. And I can't understand why is it that up to now, no action has been taken to redress the situation.
Mr. Speaker, sir, again, the leaders of opposition is misleading the House by stating that horses have been imported and VAT hasn't been paid. I can confirm to the House that all the horses that were imported, VAT has been claimed and VAT has been paid to the tune of 2.9 million rupees. In 2022, there were 36 horses that were imported, and VAT to the tune of 837,407 rupees were paid. And again, in 2023, there were 78 horses imported, and again, VAT was paid to the tune of 1,996,363 rupees. And up to now, in 2024, 5 horses imported, of which 149,023 rupees paid as VAT. So coming and say that VAT hasn't been paid is a total false.
Yes.
La question?
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Could I ask the Honourable Minister, he said earlier on, in answer to the question from the Leader of the Opposition, that a due diligence exercise was carried out as far as the company is concerned. Could he tell us when was this due diligence exercise carried out? And if you could also add to this information we require, as to by whom was the due diligence carried out? Is it by software or internal people, or, and what was the report? Precisely with regards to the ultimate beneficial owner and the source of funds. And could we consider tabling the report?
Mr. Speaker, sir, at the time when the EDB received that application for the investment certificate, they carried out, that was in May 2022, and they carried out that due diligence exercise, and based on that, the certificate was issued. So at the level of the EDB, they have the mechanism in place to carry out the due diligence exercise. That's how it was carried out. So,
Please, wait.
well, I don't have the report with me, but I'm informed that this is done through 3 software systems that they have in place that check any adverse reports on the directors, shareholders, and the company. So it's a common exercise which is applied to every applicant at the level of the EDB. So this is has been the case for this particular application as well.
Yes, Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Yes. Does the minister find it proper that the owner of the Global Equestrian Ltd is the employer of grooms at the Champ de Mars and of at least 10 jockeys, of several trainers, is the sole horse racing organizer, and at the same time is the owner of more than 250 horses which are leased to run races at Champ de Mars? And if this is not monopoly, then what it is?
Well, again, Mr. Speaker, sir, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition is coming with vague questions. Wide.
Yes,
That's
Honourable Leader of
specific.
Opposition. No, wait. Let me, please.
Am I supposed?
Wait, order. Let me intervene. Look, this did not arise through the main body of the answer. And supplementary questions suppose to elucidate matters that have been canvassed. I have allowed you, but please, now, please come back to relevance. Yes. Have you finished your reply?
Well, I just said that he is coming with a question which is widely within the ambit of this PNQ.
Yes. Honourable Leader of Opposition, next question.
Let me now come to employees of that company. Now, it is clear that for the purpose of bringing foreign workers to Mauritius on an occupational permit, one of the conditions is that there should be scarcity of such skill in Mauritius. Is he aware that in this particular case, with regard to groups, that there is no scarcity of skills, and if so, can he give an explanation to this?
Well, Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm aware that there has been occupational permits issued to that company for them to be allowed to bring skilled workers. So based on their specific activities that they have to carry out, they had to have recourse to foreign workers to do that activity.
Yes.
Yes. Now, as per my information, the income of the company comes mainly from revenue received from leases. And I'll come back to this because this is where the revenue comes. I doubt that this is enough for the expenses of the company. Can the minister confirm whether the source of fund of this company has been investigated and before providing them with special licenses from EDB and Gambling Regulatory Authority, whether they are a solvent company?
Well, Mr. Speaker, sir, like I said again, before conferring that certificate to the Global Equestrian Ltd company, the EDB carried out a due diligence exercise. So looking at the source of the funds has no doubt been looked at, and it's only after that they were satisfied that they are clean funds. That's how the certificate was issued. Otherwise, if there was any doubt on that, I don't think EDB would have given any investor certificate to that company.
Reply given by the Honourable Minister, Mr. Speaker, it stands to reason that this government is aiding and abetting those who are involved in illegal activities. Is the Minister aware that the Gajana stable, which holds a historic and emotional value for the population, closed down because the integrity of the horse racing is threatened as a result of this conflict of interest at all levels? Is he aware of this?
Week in, week out, Mr. Speaker, sir, I hear the same kind of phrase, aiding and abetting. So is that the only thing that he knows? I don't know. But what I can tell the House is that this government, ever since the rapport Paris came out, we have been trying to regulate the whole racing activity in this country. We all know what were the recommendations in that report, and everything is being done to ensure that all the stakeholders in that particular industry, their rights are being safeguarded. So that is what we are trying to do, and I hope that they do understand that this is an industry that needed to be reviewed completely, and that's what we have been doing.
Yes.
One of the directors of this company has a monopoly on off-course betting with a turnover of approximately 1 billion rupees. This company, the People's Turf, is a sole horse racing organizer and is currently running Champ de Mars illegally. He is the employer of an overwhelming majority of groups at Champ de Mars. Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Leader of Opposition, there are two things now. Yeah. Put your question,
Mr. Speaker,
first of all, and
can I through
let me tell you, I was talking. Put your question, and secondly, refrain from commenting on the conduct or character of persons other than in their public or official capacity This is what the standing order says. So please, put your question.
He who is not paying his dues to government. who's
Yes, yes, but you will
given
see,
a lot of-
Honourable, do not argue with me, you will see in the
I'm not
standing
arguing, I'm
orders.
saying,
Let me finish, you will see that you're not supposed to do that, except in their public or official capacity. So please, put your question differently, and I will allow it.
can I ask the minister, why is it that up to now, neither the EDP nor the Competition Commission or the Financial Crime Commission
Please.
has acted in a way to take this company to task? Why is it that up to now, none of these organizations have acted to do what is called upon them to do?
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, look, you may, look, you have, I have already given my ruling earlier, it should be on subject.
I go by your ruling,
And-
Mr. Speaker, sir. I
You
think
will decide if you will answer, and in any
he's
case, this is the
completely
last
out of
question.
subject, Mr.
Time
Speaker,
is
sir.
over. So,
I go by your ruling, Mr. Speaker,
right,
sir.
time is over.